Najib's 12-year jail term has suddenly been reduced to 6 years, like he has used a 50% promo code from an influencer. But here's the thing, it's actually quite useless. Watch on, cause there's something you probably have missed. So, on 2nd February, a breaking news that isn't that breaking suddenly broke. Former Prime Minister Najib has been granted a royal pardon. Yeah, Malaysia changed PM 4 times in about 4 years, while Singapore changed PM 2 times in about 40 years. It's so-called not breaking because a few days prior, there have been reports about this, with some reports even claiming that he will be completely released. If that's the case, there is a different story which I will address later. So, it's announced officially that Najib's original sentence of 12 years will be reduced to 6 years, and his fine will be reduced from 210 million ringgit to 500 million ringgit.
Wow.
Because he started serving his sentence from August 2022, 6 years means he will technically be released on August 2028, and just like any jail term, with good behaviour, he could be released as early as 2026, which is 2 years from now. So, what the heck happened? And what is a pardon? Here's the thing, while it seems shocking that Najib suddenly get a discount from his sentence, a pardon isn't something new. And it's not like Najib begged the king's pardon. You see, in every country, there's kind of like a pardon system. Now, don't confuse this pardon with parole, cause you idiots might think it's parole after knowing about Amos C case. Parole is kind of like an early release from jail for almost all jail terms. So basically, even when you see a 10 years jail term for someone, it's usually never 10 years one. There will always be some kind of discount at the end, which the parole will decide on how much discount. So basically, you can think of jail time as the retail price of items sold in Queensway Shopping Centre. It's always lower one. Except the McDonald's guy, you bold don't go and ask if got discount if you buy 3 prosperity meals or not. See me. Who sell? You see, you always go there and bargain. Pardon is very, very different. You see, similarly, many countries also have a pardon system. The person who has the power to pardon is usually the president or the king. There are many reasons why there's a pardon system. Check on the justice system so that we can ensure that there's no corruption in the system. A way to show that people have paid their dues and others. Just think of a criminal who has been convicted. If he tries to appeal and fail and he still thinks that he's completely innocent, he can try to seek a pardon. So instead of letting the courts decide, he gets another system to decide. Cause check and balance, remember? But you can clearly see why pardons aren't granted easily. It can be abused easily and everyone will seek pardon. However, it's not exactly uncommon for pardons to occur. In the US, the president will usually grant a number of pardons on the last day of his presidency. If you have watched The West Wing, which is a rather realistic show about politics compared to a dramatic House of Cards, you'll see how stressful it is to grant pardons. Cause the optics might backfire a lot. Like for example, when Trump pardoned people who are associated with him, people KP, so it's a tough job. So in Malaysia, the king has the powers to pardon someone, and similarly, on the last day of the previous king term, he granted Najib's request for pardon. So while it looks like a drama since he did that on the last day, it isn't. In fact, in the West Wing, the president granted a pardon hours before he stepped down. As for why a pardon is given, usually the person who gives the pardon don't need to give the reason. Now, why is a pardon for Najib useless? You see, many of us think he's going to do an unward. Cause back in 2018, Anwar was in jail and he was given a full royal pardon. He immediately went back to politics and the rest is history. But here's the thing, Anwar's pardon is a full pardon, so it's like the alleged crime he committed completely disappeared altogether. However, for Najib, it's a discount of the punishment of his crime, so his crime still exists. Just think of Anwar's case as that he orders food from GrabFood and then he didn't receive the food at all, so he gets a full refund. But for Najib, he orders food from GrabFood, but one pizza has a wrong order cause he specifically said he don't want pineapple, so he complained and get a 50% discount. Why is this important? Anwar can join politics again since his last call criminal case doesn't exist anymore, but not for Najib. His still exists. You see, in Malaysia, whoever is convicted of a criminal offence and have to serve 1 year's jail or fine over 2,000 ringgit cannot run for elections for 5 years. The next election over there must be held by February 2028. And that's not the only problem. You see, his case is technically not over. Or I should say, his cases. Cause the 12-year sentence are for certain charges. There are still 3 ongoing criminal cases against him. This means he could still be sentenced to even more jail time. So while it seems like Najib might look like he's making a comeback, no it's actually just another day in Malaysia. You can read more in our app, so download cause I'll be there soon as well. In the meantime, if you think you have learned something, consider subscribing and also watch this video to be slightly smarter.